Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Issues in Education. We're coming to you live from the brand new Dressel Elementary School. And my guests today are Dr. Jim Simpson, who is the Superintendent of Schools, and Karen Schuster, who is the School Board President. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, I must say this is one beautiful elementary school. There was a need for it, wasn't there?
There certainly was, Jennifer. Lindbergh is the fastest growing school district in St. Louis County, and we regularly grow between 150 and 200 students a year, most of them elementaries. So what we have to do is build classrooms to hold those students, and we're excited to be here at Dressel, which is a state-of-the-art building perfectly designed for modern education instruction. And so we're at an excited time for Lindbergh.
It is a gorgeous school. How many students are here, Dr. Simpson?
650.
And where were those students last year, the ones first through fifth grade?
Well, we call Dressel our relief valve because for the last really almost 6 or 7 years, we've been pumping a lot of students into elementaries that didn't have room. But you have to do that, and we needed a new elementary to really reduce that overcrowding. So Dressel was our relief valve, and we pulled those students from all the other elementaries. There's 5 other elementaries in Lindbergh, and greatly relieved the overcongestion there. And 650 students then started their first day of school here at Dressel just a couple of weeks ago.
So you're already at capacity.
Already at capacity.
My. So what do you think is the secret to success in the Lindbergh School District?
I believe that the secret to Lindbergh success is that we give every child an individual instruction. We analyze where you are in your academic skills, and if you're not where you need to be, we have a team that comes in and works with you to bring you up to speed. We have a lot of class grades in which almost 100% of the students are proficient. That's unheard of. Lindbergh was the highest performing academic school in the state of Missouri 5 years in a row, and we're like number 3 this year. Mm-hmm. So we're always in the top 1, 2, or 3 of the top schools out of 520 schools, and it's because we give individual instruction, and of course because every day, every minute of the day, we know how to provide that really high quality level of instruction.
And so, Karen, what would that look like if there was a child who was struggling? What kind of help would be provided for that child to bring him or her up to speed with the rest of the students?
Oh, well, we have teachers who are just, I think, so in tune with the students' needs. And so when they identify a need, there are various people within the buildings that can pop into those classrooms and give that individualized instruction so the teacher can continue to work with the full classroom. They do a lot of small groups. I know, having an elementary student, when those people pop in, they have kids that are working independently, and then they pull them in for small group activities so that they can really individualize. I would say, from a parent perspective, I think we get really creative in making sure that as we meet the needs of each of those children, it's very directed. Measuring it through various data sources so that teachers can really key in on what those kids need and then bring in the people that they need, mm-hmm. and work with their peers who have those same needs. I think from my own kids' experiences, that helps to build their confidence too, so the kids get excited about learning. It's not, oh, I need this resource, or I need extra help. I think it's seen as this group activity that they really enjoy.
So when you say bring in the people they need, do you mean from other schools in the district?
Well, I think we have specific people.
Yes.
That's their responsibility. So maybe it's a reading specialist, mm-hmm. or it might be somebody who's a math specialist. And so they have specific areas that they concentrate on within their buildings, or maybe multiple buildings, so they have designated time to go in and provide that to the teachers.
And so when that specialist comes in, does the specialist work with the child during the class or after class?
It can be either way. It could be a pull-out in which the child leaves the class to be with that specialist, or it could be a person that's helping that child in the class. And it also could be a program that we put together to give that child special instruction during the day and remediation. I mean, sometimes children move into Lindbergh and unfortunately they're not where they need to be academically for whatever reason, and we've got to go into a situation and advance them at a quick level, because our goal is to bring them up to their classmates' level of academic skills. So we have incredible programs to do that. It's one of our secrets that we do, and we monitor that very closely. Mm-hmm. It's Lindbergh is acts like we call ourselves the Lindbergh family, and that's because every child is part of our family, and they're not just a number to us. They're a person, and they're at a certain place, and we sort of monitor and nurture that to get them exactly where they need to be.
You said that's one of the secrets of the Lindbergh School District. Do other schools come to you for advice?
All the time. We have being number one academically, everybody wants to know what the secret is, and they come to us, and we're happy to share what we have and what we do. And some districts adopt those, and others say that really is something that just seems something we're not going to be able to do at our district, because it is a lot of work, and it is a lot of tracking, and you have to get used to that. So we do have a lot of visitors, and we're always happy to show people what we do.
How are those rankings done?
Those rankings are done, the state of Missouri, DESE, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, provides the data for that. And then there is for digital families, which are all young families, there's lots of websites that rank schools, and so they type in there where we have when their child turns 3 or 4 years old and they're thinking about 12 years of education and they need to get to where they want to be for that, and they type up, and Lindbergh pops up on the top every time just about as the best place to raise kids. Not just that, Crestwood was voted by or rewarded by Bloomberg Magazine as the best place to raise kids in the state of Missouri, and there's a lot of reasons that Lindbergh is where it is. We have the families, we have the low crime, we've got the quality of life, and we've got great schools. All that combines and makes this really an incredible place to raise families, and so that's a big plus for us.
So when a new school like Dressel Elementary opens, it must really affect everything in the community economically around you. Housing market, I mean, I would imagine.
I would think so. Well, and I think the Lindbergh track record in general does that. There was a lot of excitement about Dressel in particular, the new building, and just the continued growth with the continued success at Lindbergh. And, I mean, as one example, I know houses are snapped up immediately, and usually young families are moving into them, which is good for the economy. I mean, you've got families, larger families, and they're shopping, so it's helping the retail side of things in the economy. As we grow, we're adding jobs here. I think that certainly there's just this positive trend that continues to occur because of the school's success.
Are there enough teachers in our area, or is there demand for teachers?
We have a lot of applicants for our jobs. I think that's based. Teachers go where there's high quality education. So places that are challenged, I think, have trouble getting enough teachers for their applications. But we have a tremendous number, hundreds. We have over hundreds for every job opening we have, and so if teachers want to come to places that have high quality education and they have great instruction and great families to work with, we're very fortunate in that. And I would point out also, Jennifer, that 63126, the zip code I live in Lindbergh, which is Crestwood, was the hottest zip code in the country.
I remember seeing that.
For selling houses. They sell in hours. And it's young families come to the Lindbergh and to get that education.
So, Dr. Simpson, you said that Dressel Elementary works as a relief valve.
Yes.
For how long? You're already at capacity.
Well, I was actually calculating that today with my team, and we think we will be back to totally over capacity in 5 years at the elementaries at our present rate of growth. And so we have 6 elementaries. There has to be a solution for a 7th in some form, and within 5 years, or we're going to blow the seams out of the buildings again. It's a good problem to have, a challenge to have. And it sure helps our economy because all those young families spend every dime, and they bring all that energy and vitality. So we're happy to have hundreds of young families every year moving into our school district, keeping our businesses busy and coming to our parks and our churches and everything else.
So as school board president, Karen, what is the board's relationship with parents here?
with parents. I think our job is really to hear the community. We are not the day-to-day operations, but we certainly receive a lot of feedback, whether that be through emails or just personal conversations when people come to our board meetings. But really being ready to hear what they have to say and then work with the school administration to find the best resolution for the kids, not just today, but in the long term. You mentioned the 7th elementary. We know that we can pack kids into schools and still get a really good educational experience for the kids, but we don't want to do that just for the sake of being able to. We want to plan for that next relief valve. So I think it's our job really to listen and make sure that we understand what's coming down the road and work with the administration to help those things happen.
So when students graduate from Dressel, where do they go? What's the next school?
From Dressel, they go to Sparing Middle School.
They will go to our Sparing Middle School. We have 2 middle schools, and this building is aligned with Sparing.
And so is there a problem of overcrowding in those schools? Is that a challenge for you in the future?
That they're growing rapidly in the middle schools. Luckily, we have big middle schools. Truman and Sparing both are large buildings, and so we're making it. But the numbers are growing quite aggressively in those buildings too. So we're good for a few years on that area too. But yes, Sparing is growing. Our high school will be the largest enrolled high school in the state of Missouri in just a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Where it's got 2,100 students in it as we sit here, and so we have a lot of growth. And so, but the Board of Education's done a fantastic job of really dealing with that growth, which takes a multi-year look. You can't just wake up and say, oh, let's build a building. This building we're sitting in here is from the time of the taxpayer vote to where we are right now is 4 years. So you got to really think long term.
Mm-hmm. And were you here on the first day of school, I assume?
Oh, yes.
So what was the reaction of the students as they came in?
Well, I'll quantify that with our ribbon cutting day. We had 1,600 parents come to our building.
Wow.
To see it. Not just parents. There's a lot of residents that just say, wow, I get to tour a brand new building. Some residents thought it was so impressive that they were just anxious and interested and curious. So
well, as 16. Walking through here, I feel like going back to school.
Yeah.
Oh,
16.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it was a big success on our opening day, and like I said, 1,600 people came through our building and toured it that day, and that could be a world's record. I've opened a lot of buildings. I've never had 1,600. I tried. They were parking for miles around to get in there.
I think that's exciting.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
It's really good for the Lindbergh School District. So your goal for the rest of this year, Karen, what do you hope to accomplish, or what does the board hope to accomplish?
Well, I would say the first thing that's on our plate at the moment is finding a new leader, because Jim, you may or may not know, announced that he'd be retiring at the end of this school year. So that's certainly an important thing. We need to find the right leader that has a belief and a love for the traditions of Lindbergh and can carry on the things that we've been doing, because they have been very successful. So we're focused on that right now.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Simpson, are you part of that, helping them find someone?
No, actually, I help in any way I can, but it's like the ex-husband at the wedding. It just doesn't work.
Okay.
So I wish them well, but they get to pick. It's totally their world, but I will help them in any way they want. But tradition is what you're saying. In tradition, the retiring superintendent stays hands off in a way and lets the board pick who they want.
And the job is posted? Perhaps that's the question.
Not quite yet. We have issued a request for proposal at this point for search firms. We'll utilize some professional help to walk us through that process, and it won't get posted until later in the year.
Karen Schuster is the school board president, and Dr. Jim Simpson, the Lindbergh School Superintendent. What are your plans for retirement, Jim?
I'm going to continue to live in Crestwood. I've learned to love South County. It's a fantastic place. You got everything you need here. And, of course, the Lindbergh School and all the connections are a big part of my wife's life, my life. And so we're going to stay here and use this as our travel hub. And then we'll do a lot of traveling, but we'll be coming back to Lindbergh. I was happy to see that Wow Airlines is coming in and offering those $150 flights to Europe. We might out of St. Louis, so we may take advantage of some of those. We haven't been able to travel our whole career. It's school business, pretty all-consuming, and so for the first time, we're going to see what that side of life is like.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both very much. Enjoy, and good luck with the rest of the school year.